Good morning. This is Mark, and I'm going to say a few things about layered internet applications. There's a whole slew of companies out there that are building applications for the iPhone. They're building applications for Facebook. They're building applications for Twitter, and they're making money doing it. And I'd like to join those companies, and I think that the ease of entry for development is the bar is getting lowered, so anybody can kind of get into the fray. There's a whole lot of tools that exist out there to help you get involved. There's higher level language components and just some neat stuff. Morning, guys. So I think the way things are going, if you build a business based on a product that kind of sits on multiple layers, you don't want to just rely on one product or business, because if that business goes under, your business goes under. So you want to have multiple functional other platforms that you sit on top of. But you know, when you get these super high level functioning APIs that you can send information to and get information back from, you can put together some spectacular tools. And an example of that is something I'm trying to build. And I mean, the idea came out, I blogged about it on a while back. It's called the virtual assistant. I call it the virtual mark or something like that. But I knew that it was going to need some pretty strong semantic tools. And you know, I did some searching around, and I found out that Zemanta has an API that you can use. And I met Bastian from their company. He's one of the co-founders, and I met their I guess their CIO or something like that, Andras. And you know, I had a chance to talk to Bastian for a little bit, and he pointed me in the right direction. I told him, you know, some ideas I had for contextual-based advertising, and the idea there was every time you put in a status update, if you were part of this, if you have opted into this software that I was trying to develop, it would take your status message and maybe any links, and it would create a context for them. So it would get some meta tags and keywords, and it would push them out over the web to an ad aggregator, and that guy would send you back a matching advertisement. And then I said, well, maybe I want to add some more functionality here. Maybe we want some links, so that when I typed in something into, you know, friend feed or Twitter or Facebook, I would automatically have this little window that tracked the concepts I was talking about, and then would come up with real-time information. So now I had a Google AdSense search, which had ads and stuff like that, and I was like, well, it's kind of static. It's not that much fun. Now I added a real-time search, and then I said, well, which is the best real-time tool? And it's hard to decide that right now because there's a lot of players in that area, but TwasUp, I think it's called Scoople, or Scoop. Twitter has its own real-time search. FriendFeed has a really good real-time search. Collecta has a good real-time search. And I also threw in Bing and Google just for completeness. And so now I have all these frames that kind of come up underneath each other. But the graphic display is like, it's too much. You can only look at a little bit at a time. But they update in real time, so assuming you had a little bit of window space you could give to this thing, it can track in real time what you're talking about and who else is talking about it. So instead of just connecting with people, you'd be connecting on topics. And the real-time search engines are working on the part of how relevant is an update or a status or a blog post or whatever it is. And they have to work with some kind of authority. I know as far as regular search go, Google has PageRank, and I think other search engines have used something similar, or they've used indexing. But the more links and your company will be higher priority, and then the more links you get from higher priority companies, you could work up the ladder, and the older your site was, the higher your page rank. But with real time, we want to know right away how relevant something is, so how do we trust something? And one of the mechanisms was, loosely based on follower count from Twitter. If you had a lot of followers, that meant that there was a number of people that were interested in what you were saying in real time. But, there's no guarantee that what you're saying about a certain topic is in your area of expertise or is relevant. So, and follower count has been somewhat gamed by the suggested users list and other systems of auto follow back, and I don't want to go into it, but so follower count alone is not really a good measure of web authority. But when you have a group, a network group, and they recreate your messages and send them out, there's a sort of a network response function. And if you have a history of talking about certain topics, that can be monitored as well. So when certain people post, when Lewis Gray writes a post about social media, it would have higher relevance because he's kind of deeply following it. He's been involved in it for years. He's been writing about it. If Robert Scopel's writing something about web tech, same idea. I mean, he's tied into the industry. If Fred Wilson is writing something about venture capitalism, and the idea, it just goes on from there. But the real-time search tools will get smarter about who's saying what and what are their fields of expertise, and it can kind of give them some rating. Now, what we really need to do is, much like social media, we have to democratize the whole system. Now there you have a problem, because how do people vote on something and you still give it real-time information? You can't. And TweetMeme has something like that, where things are scored by the number of times it's been retweeted. Also, there's a popularity score in, I think in Twas Up or Scoop or something, probably one of those guys. And over time they'll build up a kind of a strength or an influential score, and you won't see that right away. But what you can do is see when it's hot, when people are retweeting it, and there's a very fast response to retweeting it. So there's like a derivative of replication, and the more that something is virally spreading, the more popular it can become, the higher it should be ranked when doing a real-time search. And so there's a lot of different tricks people can use to get that information, and I don't know them. But anyway, I've digressed pretty much totally. The video's core idea was building applications on top of other web applications. And there you share an interface, a common interface, and other people use your common interface, and they develop products and tools that have specialized value to other people. Now, we have a problem with monetization. How do we pay the guys that we're using? If I make a product and sell it and cash in a whole bunch of money, how do I pay the applications that I'm riding on top of for their contribution? How do I measure their contribution, how effective they are? And that's about negotiating deals and number of calls per day and that sort of thing. And also it's keyed off of important dynamics. Trying to replace certain layers with other tools and seeing how that affects your bottom line. And you don't really want to experiment with something if it's not broken. So there's some challenges that have to be faced for application building on the internet. I think that'll wrap it up. Thanks. Bye.